Whispers in the barracks. Nestled deep in a remote forest, the Camp Redfield military base was known for its isolation and eerie silence. It was the ideal location for a top-secret operation that involved a team of highly trained soldiers. Captain David Miller led his squad into the camp for what was supposed to be a routine deployment, a covert mission to gather intelligence on an enemy faction. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the soldiers settled into the barracks. The air was heavy with tension, but the camaraderie among the squad offered some comfort. However, as night fell, strange occurrences began to unfold. As the soldiers lay in their bunks, the silence of the night was broken by soft, indistinct whispers that seemed to come from the very walls of the barracks. At first, they dismissed it as their imagination, but the whispers grew louder and more distinct. Private Elena Torres, known for her fearlessness, was the first to investigate. She followed the sound through the dimly lit corridors and found herself in front of an old, locked storage room. The whispers seemed to emanate from within. Curiosity overcoming caution, Elena used her skills to pick the lock, revealing a room filled with dusty crates and forgotten relics. As Elena explored the room, she discovered a stack of faded journals belonging to soldiers from decades past. The journals chronicled their experiences during a forgotten war, one that had claimed countless lives in the very same forest where Camp Redfield stood. Elena's heart raced as she read accounts of unexplainable occurrences, mysterious disappearances, and inexplicable deaths. The chilling stories recounted encounters with an otherworldly presence that seemed to feed on fear and despair. Soldiers described waking nightmares, shadows that moved on their own, and eerie whispers that echoed through the night. The more Elena read, the more convinced she became that the camp was haunted by the tormented souls of those who had perished in the war. Elena shared her findings with Captain Miller and the squad, who were initially skeptical. However, the whispers grew louder, and the barracks became a hotbed of paranormal activity. Soldiers reported seeing apparitions in their peripheral vision, unexplained temperature drops, and equipment malfunctioning without cause. As the haunting escalated, tensions within the squad mounted. Fear and paranoia began to erode their once unbreakable bond, and the soldiers struggled to distinguish reality from the supernatural. One night, during a particularly intense episode of supernatural activity, Private James Carter vanished without a trace. The squad searched frantically, but he was nowhere to be found. The soldiers knew they had to confront the malevolent force that lurked within the camp, or risk losing more lives. Captain Miller devised a plan to cleanse the barracks and put the tormented spirits to rest. With the help of a local historian, they uncovered the ritual used by soldiers decades ago to banish the entity. The squad armed themselves with knowledge, courage, and a determination to end the haunting. The squad gathered in the barracks, candles flickering in the dim light, as they performed the ritual to appease the vengeful spirits. As the incantation echoed through the room, a chilling wind swept through, extinguishing the candles. The whispers grew louder, surrounding the soldiers with a cacophony of voices. In the midst of the chaos, the apparition of Private Carter materialized, his eyes filled with agony. He spoke of the horrors he had endured, trapped in a liminal space between life and death. His presence represented the collective suffering of all those who had fallen victim to the camp's haunted past. As the confrontation reached its climax, Captain Miller made a heartbreaking decision. He stepped forward, volunteering himself as a sacrifice to break the cycle of torment. The soldiers watched in horror as the captain's sacrifice banished the spirits and restored peace to Camp Redfield. In the aftermath, the camp was decommissioned, and the squad went their separate ways, haunted by the memories of their harrowing ordeal. The horrors they had faced remained etched in their minds, a reminder of the darkness that lurked within the barracks. Cursed grounds. Deep in the heart of a remote desert, nestled between endless dunes and an eerie silence, stood Fort Veritas, an isolated military base surrounded by an air of mystery. Captain Sarah Thompson and her platoon arrived at the camp, their mission to conduct training exercises and strengthen their combat skills. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the camp, unease settled in the hearts of the soldiers. The wind whispered secrets, and the darkness seemed to conceal more than just the night. As night fell, the platoon gathered around a campfire, sharing stories and laughter to dispel the mounting tension. But their mirth was short-lived. Private Jake Reynolds, known for his skepticism, recounted tales he had heard from the base's maintenance crew, stories of strange noises, unexplainable sightings, and objects moving on their own. Chuckles turned into nervous glances as the platoon members exchanged knowing looks. Some scoffed, but others couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Over the next few nights, the platoon began experiencing eerie occurrences. Footsteps echoed in empty corridors, shadows danced along the edges of their vision, and whispers lingered just out of reach. Equipment malfunctioned at the most inopportune times, and soldiers reported waking up to find their belongings rearranged or missing altogether. Despite their bravado, fear crept into the hearts of the soldiers, gnawing at their resolve. Their once close camaraderie began to fray as distrust grew amidst the unsettling atmosphere. In a desperate attempt to quell the growing unease, Captain Thompson delved into the base's history. She uncovered disturbing records of a covert operation during World War II that had gone horribly wrong, a mission that resulted in the death of an entire platoon. The base was reportedly built atop the graves of those soldiers, their restless spirits never finding peace. As Captain Thompson shared her findings with the platoon, disbelief gave way to grim realization. The soldiers now faced the unsettling truth that they were living and training on cursed grounds. Tensions escalated as the haunting intensified. Soldiers reported seeing apparitions of World War II-era soldiers in tattered uniforms, their eyes empty voids filled with sorrow. Footsteps echoed in sync with their own, and the camp seemed to come alive with the echoes of a bygone era. During a training exercise, Private Lisa Ramirez was separated from the group, finding herself in a shadowy labyrinth of corridors. The walls seemed to close in, and whispers swirled around her like a sinister symphony. Lisa's screams went unanswered as she stumbled upon an old, decrepit bunker, presumably the remnants of the ill-fated mission. The platoon rallied to rescue Lisa, determined to confront the malevolent forces that held her captive. Armed with courage and weapons, they ventured into the bunker, only to find themselves trapped in a nightmarish maze. The walls shifted, passages twisted, and the air grew thick with dread. As they delved deeper, they encountered the apparitions of the fallen soldiers, their hollow gazes accusing and mournful. The platoon faced visions of the past, scenes of battle, sacrifice, and unending despair. Each step brought them closer to the heart of the haunting. Amidst the chaos, Captain Thompson stumbled upon an old diary, the faded pages recounting the events of the ill-fated mission. In the final entry, a desperate plea for salvation was penned. The captain realized that the spirits were trapped in a loop of reliving their tragic deaths, the curse perpetuated by the unresolved trauma. With newfound determination, the platoon retraced the steps of the mission, reenacting the events that had led to the soldiers' demise. As they did, they reached out to the spirits, offering forgiveness, solace, and release from their torment. In a climactic moment, the platoon's actions shattered the cycle of the curse. The air trembled, and the apparitions dissolved into a brilliant light. The camp fell silent, and the oppressive weight that had hung over Fort Veritas lifted. As the soldiers emerged from the bunker, the dawn of a new day bathed the desert in soft hues of pink and gold. Captain Thompson and her platoon had not only broken the curse that bound the spirits but had also found a sense of closure and redemption for the fallen soldiers. With the ordeal over, the platoon left Fort Veritas behind, forever changed by their harrowing experience. The haunted camp became a distant memory, a tale they would share as a testament to the enduring power of courage and compassion. Yet, as they walked away from the desolate desert, they couldn't shake the feeling that the whispers and shadows lingered, a reminder that some stories were never truly put to rest.